We call this gathering the art of allowing, and it really is about the art of allowing yourself vibrational alignment with who you really are and what you are asking for. Do you understand that you are source energy in physical bodies? Do you get it that your worthiness is not in question? Do you understand that you are source out here on the leading edge, assisting in the expansion of the universe? This physical life that you're living is not about you catching up with the non-physical energy that is already perfect. This time-space reality and your exposure and experience within it is the leading edge of thought, and source is right here with you all of the time if you will but allow yourself to get up to vibrational speed with that which source is. So we'll talk a lot in the hours and days that are before us about your emotions and this emotional guidance scale. We'll talk about how your emotions are your indicator of what you are doing right now with your vibration. Because you cannot set your radio dial on 6:30 a.m. and receive what's being broadcast on 98.7 FM. The frequencies have got to match up. And if you want more money, but you've got your frequency set on, I don't have enough money, more money cannot come to you. Most of our physical friends offer the majority of their vibration in response to what they are observing. So what happens is you're living what you're living, and in many cases it's wonderful. In some cases there are things you want and things that you want not so much. But as you are observing what is, what happens is you offer a vibration that matches what you're observing. And then the universe matches the vibration and gives you more. And then you observe more of what is. And then you get more of what is. And then you observe more of what is. And then the universe gives you more of what is. And then you observe more of what is. So if you want what is to change, you have to begin offering a different vibration, which means you have to ignore what is, or we like to say, make peace with what is. In other words, stop fighting against what is. If you will try to find a way of looking at what is and make yourself feel better somehow, and we'll show you how to do that today and tomorrow and the next day, as you begin to make an effort to find a way of making peace with what is, what happens is you begin to open your vibrational portals, and you begin to then allow in those things that have been waiting for you in vibrational escrow. Now we want to say to you that as you've been giving thought today and yesterday and all the days before in this physical body, you have been projecting all kinds of things into your vibrational escrow. Some things you want and some things you want not so much. And you can tell by the way you feel what it is you are systematically moving toward. It's wonderful that you live in an environment with this glorious buffer of time. It's so nice that your thoughts do not instantly manifest. There would be much more for you to deal with than you really want to. It's such a lovely thing that you have this buffer of time, which means 99.9999% of everything is complete vibrationally before you begin to see the evidence of it. So what happens is often you are well along your path to what it is you are wanting, but because you are not taking score based upon the way you feel, you often are taking score based upon what you're seeing manifested. Many times you're well along the way, nearly on the brink of a manifestation, but as you stop and take score and see that it has not yet come, then your vibration turns to one that is reflected by disappointment, and then you are moving in the opposite direction. As Jerry and Esther are traveling, as they do a great deal, one of their trips that they make often is from Phoenix to San Diego. It's about a 400-mile journey, and it's easy for them to understand. They know that they head west, and if they keep a reasonable speed, they will arrive at their destination. And they never get to the halfway point, which is about Yuma, Arizona, and get so unhappy about not yet being in San Diego that they get disoriented and turn around and go back to Phoenix. In other words, that journey is easy for them to understand. But sometimes we see you in a body that has been given a label of sickness, finding some optimism or some hope and moving well along your way to full recovery, because there is nothing that you cannot be or do or have. But because the manifestation is not evident yet, and because it's not showing up on the doctor's scans or tests, your assumption is that you are not on your way to recovery, and when you get the remarks from the doctor regarding the test, you freak out and turn around and go back to Phoenix. We see you struggling in not enough money, finding a vibration just out of sheer willpower or desire, doing a pretty good job of lining up with it, and we see your financial future turning around. We see you moving steadily toward the increase in dollars that you want, and then something happens that causes you to look abruptly at what is, and you find yourself focused upon the lack or opposite of what you want, and the disappointment or worry or even anger surges within you to indicate that you've lost your vibrational bead on your vibrational frequency, and you've turned around and are going back to Phoenix. We want so much for you to finally, once and for all, make a decision in these hours that we are together that you are going to use the guidance system that you were born with, that you are going to begin to use the guidance system that you use even when you do not have a physical body, that you are going to be the vibrational being that you are and be aware of your vibrational frequency, and then do your work about lining up the frequencies within you. You know, it's not about lining your frequencies up with any other person on the planet or anyone or anything. It's about aligning the frequencies within you. That's all it's about. It's about bringing yourself into vibrational energy balance. And the only way to do that is to be aware of your guidance system. Your guidance system is the emotional guidance system that you are often aware of, sometimes not so much. Your emotions are your indication of the mix of vibration. Now, this is important. It's the mix of vibration. Do not lose sight of these 2 points of vibrational relativity. Magellan wants to know where you want to go because Magellan knows where you are and can guide you. But if you are not paying attention to how you feel, you may not know where you are. In other words, you have to know where you are as you are making your way to someplace else. And the feeling of relief that you feel as you begin to move up the emotional scale is your indication of your improved vibration. So the emotional scale, on one end of it are those good feeling emotions. Feels like joy, feels like love, appreciation, passion is there. And on the other end of the scale, feels like fear, feels like disempowerment, feels like depression. And so as you are paying attention to the way you feel, you can tell which end of the scale you are leaning toward. We want to remind you, you may be aware of this, but this is a very important basis of understanding about your emotional guidance system. On the end of the scale that feels so wonderful to you is your perception of freedom. It's your perception of empowerment. And the reason that we say that to you is because it's your freedom or your ability to be free is really not in question. You are so free you can choose bondage. But if you are not aware, it is your perception of freedom that is important because you are the one that is projecting thought. So on the good feeling end of the scale is your perception of freedom. On the not so good feeling end of the scale is your perception of empowerment or disempowerment or not freedom. And as you understand that basis, then you understand that as you improve your place on the emotional scale, you feel the feeling of relief. Because each time you move even the slightest little bit on the emotional scale, the subsequent feeling to you is one of releasing resistance. And releasing resistance always feels like relief. So there is allowing on the good end of the scale, resisting on the not feeling good end of the scale. When we say we want you to make peace with where you are, we really mean that because it doesn't matter where you are on the emotional scale in relationship with where anybody else is on the emotional scale. The only thing that matters is your vibrational relativity. In other words, you are the one that has been living the life that has been letting the universe know what it is you are wanting relative to every subject imaginable. And you are the one who's living your life right now, thinking the thoughts, having the conversations, beating the drum, and here's the key word, activating the vibration within you that is either matching that or not matching that. And so as you are paying attention to the way you feel, you can get a very good sense in time of how well you are doing in terms of bringing yourself into vibrational compliance with what you have already established over there in your vibrational escrow. Magellan kicks up quite a squawk when Jerry and Esther deviate from the route that she has set out. She will say, please return to the highlighted route. 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 Jerry will say, shut that broad up. It is a woman's voice. The man's voice was too bossy. Please return to the highlighted route. And if they should enter the freeway and get going in the opposite direction, Magellan will say, when possible, make a legal U-turn. Because it is clear to Magellan that they are not on the highlighted route. Your emotions are giving you similar information. When you want more money, or when you want an improved bodily condition, or when you want a relationship that just knocks your socks off, and you are standing in the middle of observing something or remembering something, you're having a conversation with someone else or with yourself, and you're complaining about not enough money, or something about your body, or something about your relationship, that negative emotion that you feel, that you may call fear, or you may call worry, or you may call anger, that negative emotion that you feel is your Magellan saying, please return to the highlighted route. So as we are moving forward, it is our desire that you will come away from this gathering with a new decision firmly in place. And that decision is, I'm going to disregard, let us make it clear. We'll try to find good words. I don't give a rip about what anybody else thinks about what I'm doing. I'm going to begin to pay attention to my guidance system. Because you are leading edge creators, and you are so known to be that and so trusted by source energy. And it is so understood that no one has the ability to choose for you more effectively than you do. So when you have exposure to an experience, whether you are a genius creator in a human body or the one-celled amoeba in the ocean, when a preference is born within you, source comes into immediate agreement. That's what the evolution of the universe is all about. That's what the evolution of every species is about. That's why every moment that any of us are living is an improved moment from those that have come before.